Today I'm going to be doing a chemical treatment. So the chemical treatment I'm doing today is on this green wood here. This wood's really gotten green and disgusting. So this is going to be the most common time you're going to do a chemical treatment like this. So the chemical I'm using today is sodium hypochlorite. I got this mold armor here at Walmart. You can use any sort of sodium hypochlorite. The most common and highest concentration, best bang for your buck, is going to be pool shock. You have to be careful though, because some pool shock is calcium hypochlorite or sodium oxalate, some chemical other than sodium hypochlorite, and you want that sodium hypochlorite for a project today. If you cannot find any sodium hypochlorite, then you could use outdoor bleach. However, I do advise against that because it can have some negative effects, but it will have the same desired effect as this. You just have to be a little bit more careful with what you're doing. So that's the chemical. What I will be using to apply the chemical today is a pump sprayer. So this is a Roundup pump sprayer. The reason I use this is because it's 2.5 gallons. It also has a really nice wand construction. The reason I like this wand construction is because a lot of cheap pump sprayers spray out a single jet. Well, this has multiple different ways that it can shoot out, and I will be using a fan for this today. This can also do a stream as well as a cone. Some cheap ones do have a cone. However, I think a fan is the best way to get an even coverage over the entire surface. I like this wand so much because you press down to apply it, and if you press down and up, it will lock it in place. You can see there's some old chemical coming out there. All right, and that's the parts you need in order to do a chemical treatment. Now, we are going to put the chemical in the pump sprayer. All right, so in order to do this chemical treatment, I need to open this up. So it screws on. You want to screw it on really tight, so it might be really hard to get off after your last use. Also, if you need to refill it, it'll probably still have some pressurized sodium hypochlorite gas in there. In that case, you should wear a well-fitting N95 mask, or you should probably turn your head away and put that, or you can put your shirt over your nose and mouth. Eye protection as well as a well-fitting mask is a good way to make sure that you are safe while you're doing a chemical treatment. So what I need to do is I need to get this sodium hypochlorite down to a 5% concentration. Fortunately, this mold armor comes at a 5.25% concentration, which is great for ease of use. However, if you can get a 15% concentration, you get 3 times as much sodium hypochlorite for your buck, and you just have to go do some math. So all I have to do is I just pour this chemical right in here. I'm gonna pour this entire thing in here. This is about 1 gallon. And it will go into the pump sprayer. And it has connected to this hose here. There's another tube that goes all the way through to the bottom, so you can really get every last drop out of it. I'm spilling a little bit here. All right. So now I've got this all the way out. Now this is nice compared to a pool shock because pool shock is going to have no surfactant in it, which the surfactant is what holds that chemical onto a surface. It's great for vertical surfaces. Now this is horizontal. So if you're using pool shock, I would recommend mixing a little bit of dish soap into it. I would do dish soap instead of hand soap because dish soap's more concentrated of a surfactant, and just mix it around a little bit. So now I've got this on there and I'm gonna screw it on tight. Okay, and then all I need to do is I just need to pump it until I feel a lot of resistance, and then it is fully pressurized and ready to go. So I'm feeling a lot more resistance here. Now, the more full you have it, the quicker it will be to pressurize because there's less air you need to pump in. All right, I'm feeling a lot of resistance here, and then I'm gonna turn it like that, and then I can lift it up. Now, let's see the surface. Now you're getting a sneak peek here because I spilt some there, but this is the green surface we're working with. Now we want the surface to look like wood. So I've got this fan tip on, as you can see there, and I'm just gonna spray it and I'm gonna walk backwards. Spray the chemical on and get that wood pretty saturated. You're gonna do this over wood that should be dry. And I'm gonna pick up some of the debris that's sitting on here. Ideally, you would broom all of it off, but with a project like this, perfection isn't necessarily the goal in mind. but for some projects, that will be the goal. Now I want to get all of the green parts. Now, if you don't use enough surfactant, you might not get nearly as many bubbles as I'm getting here right now. However, don't think it's not working. Okay, so now I've gotten this entire surface. I'm gonna pick up some debris here just to make sure I get even coverage across the surface. Okay, there you go. So now I've covered the entire surface in this chemical and I still have plenty left. All right, so I'm kind of doing this the redneck way. I recommend that you wear goggles and an N95 mask. However, in a pinch, sunglasses and putting your t-shirt over your nose and mouth will work well. You do not want to breathe in these chemicals. Now we're gonna let this sit for 10 to 15 minutes, just like the bottle recommends. All right, so here's the surface here. You can see it's definitely had some changes. I'm gonna rinse this off. It's been about 15 minutes now. So I'm gonna rinse this off. You can see it's still sudsing up quite a bit. There's a lot of surfactant in that mold armor, which there's nothing wrong with, but it does make for a very slippery surface if you do not have shoes that have a lot of tread. So be very careful, especially on a stairwell like we're working on right now, if you are using this mold armor or a lot of surfactant in your pool shop. All right. So if we take a closer look, there's still sudsing up quite a bit. But what we can find here is this green. This green went away. This is no longer any green on the surface. What's still here though is dirt. And that's why a proper pressure wash is still a really good idea on any surface that is walked on before you stain. However, there was quite a bit of green in this area as well. You can see this is perfectly prepped for painting and staining now. This is not going to need a pressure wash like this. This is going to need a surface cleaner going over it so that it gets all of this dirt out, which is what you're seeing here. However, other than that, the surface is perfectly prepped and we have successfully done a chemical treatment with the mold armor. If you're doing a fence, you would be completely done by now. Same with railings on a deck, stairway, or dock. However, this deck floor is going to need to be done one more time with a pass-through by the surface cleaner. Thanks, guys.